All right, kids, this is our test review, the answer video. Gonna go head through them as fast as I can. So let's zoom way in here and start on this first problem. We're finding the volume of a triangular prism. So for the volume of a triangular prism, we use V equals big BH. This surface right here is big B, and it's the same as this one on this side. I didn't want to color it in because I want to be able to see it on this side. So that's a triangle. So big B is 1/2 times the base times the height of the triangle. And remember, we've got to look at the difference between big B and little b. Big B, the area of that base, and little b, the base of that triangle we're finding the area of. So 1/2, 6 times 3. We know that's the base and the height of the triangle because one of them is the side of the triangle and the other one is perpendicular to it. That little right corner mark, very important. So 1/2 times 6 times 3, well 6 times 3 is 18, half of that is 9. So big B for this prism is 9. So we have 9 times the height of the prism, which is the distance between the bases, which is 90. So 90 square yards for the, oh, come on, Lecomte, try that again. 90 cubic yards for the volume of the prism. A window box has a length of 8.5 inches, a height of 9 inches, and the volume of the box is 2,295 cubic inches. What's the width of the box? Well, the volume of a window box, and a window box would be a rectangular prism, is V equals LWH. Now remember what we've been discussing. The point of algebra is that when you have a formula or an equation, if you've got 4 unknown things, if you've got 3 of them, you've got an answer. So plug in the volume for V. Plug in the 8.5 for L, and we don't know W, and then plug in the 9 for H. Multiply the 9 and the 8.5, because commutative property says that I'm allowed to do that, and get 76.5. So we have 76.5 W on the right-hand side and 2,295 on the left-hand side. So that means we can divide both sides by 76.5. And when we do that, we're left with the width, because all that's left here is W. And what does W equal? Well, I use my calculator and divide. Comes out to exactly 30. So 30 inches for the width of the box. Okay, surface area of a square pyramid. And I know it's a square pyramid because I can see here that the dimensions of the base are both 21. So start with the formula. Surface area equals 1/2 LP plus big B. So remember big B, that's this base down here. Right here. That's big B. Okay, let's erase that now that I drew all over it. That's big B. So big B, we know that. That's 21 times 21, or 21 squared. That comes out to 441. It's an interesting perfect square. 441. All right, P, the perimeter of the base, is 4 times 21. So that's 84. Because that's the distance around right there. Okay, L is the 42, because that's the slant height. And remember, when we're talking surface area, all of the distances we're finding are on the outside of the figure. 1/2 times L times P plus big B. Now that I have everything written out above, it's easy to fill in. 1/2 times 42 is 21. And, excuse me, 21 times 84 plus 441. Did that all in one step on my calculator. 2,205 square inches for the surface area of our pyramid. The volume of a candle with a diameter of 3.5 inches and a height of 8 inches. So immediately I'm going to write down D equals 3.5, and my brain has to say, but wait, I don't need that. I need radius. So what's half of 3.5? Well, that's 1.75. So the volume of our candle, because it's a cylinder, pi r squared h. And we're assuming it's a cylinder because they only gave me diameter and height. So I would have to have other information if it was a different shape, or I would need to know if it was, if it came to a point, for example, that would be a cone. That would be different. We're assuming it's a cylinder. Whew. Please excuse my yawning. Okay, pi times the radius, which is 1.75 squared, times the height, which we had, I forgot to write it down here, h equals 8. 8 inches. Well, I'm using 3.14 for pi. If you didn't, do not assume you did everything wrong. You can look at your difference between your answer and mine. They're probably just slightly bigger if you used a pi button. When I multiply this out with 3.14, it comes out to 76.93 cubic inches. Okay? Number 5. Surface area of the cone. Okay, I need the formula. Surface area is pi, nope, I got that wrong. Pi RL plus pi R squared. Pi RL plus pi R squared. This pi R squared being the base, the circle, and pi RL being what we call the lateral area. And that's a word that I accidentally left on this review that we will go over in a little bit. All my numbers are here. So for this one, I have pi times the radius times the slant height plus pi times the radius times itself. When I do the multiplication, we get 2,475 for 45 times 55. So this part is 2,475 pi, and 2,025 is 45 squared. Oh, sorry about that. My morning alarm just went off because it's really early in the morning. It's actually only 6:30 on a Saturday. I know that sounds crazy, but I went to bed really early last night. Okay, so 4,500 times pi, because I added them together. And now I do the multiplication, and I get 14,130, and this is square meters because it's area. Okay? Find the height of a cylinder with a volume of 9.7 cubic meters and a diameter of 1.5 meters. So this is another working backwards problem. Okay, I know the volume, and I know it's a cylinder. I know some information. I'm going to plug in what I know. I know 9.7 for the volume. I know pi is still pi. I know the diameter is 1.5, so I know the radius is 0.75. What I don't know is h, so I'm leaving h a variable. Well, when I take that information right there, we have it plugged all in. Sorry for the little editing jump there. Now, the way that I ended up doing this, because I was thinking, I have a graphing calculator, and that's not really a fair thing for me to use when I'm making your videos. So I put the graphing calculator aside, and I took just my cell phone calculator, which is, actually, if I look at it now, it doesn't even have the same stuff you guys have. It's not even a scientific calculator. So what I did is I took that calculator and I divided one at a time. I took that 9.75, and first I did 9.7, or not 9.75, just 9.7. First I did divided by 3.14, and I kept my answer on the screen. And then I did that divided by 0.75. My cats are fighting, so please excuse any background noise. They're naughty. And then I did that divided by 0.75 again. Because I divided off each of the things that are multiplied here on this right-hand side. Because I was trying to think about what you guys would do if you had just that regular calculator, so that I'm not trying to make it seem all easy by using my scientific calculator. And just double checking to make sure, yep, that I got the same answer, and I sure did. It comes out, when you round it to the nearest tenth, to 5.5. It comes out to 5.49186, blah, blah, blah. Which is the correct answer. So you can divide these things off one at a time. So remember what I did. I did 9.7 divided by 3.14. Didn't hit equals, just left it there. Then hit divided by 0.75. Then hit divided by 0.75 again, because that gets rid of both of them. Okay? If I did it on a different type of calculator, like a scientific calculator, I could multiply this all out, and then you could do something where you do 9.7 divided by answer. Now that may exist on our calculators. We'll have to look for it. My calculator gurus can look for it for me. But I'm only used to teaching to use the calculator with the regular 4 functions. Okay, I'm making this video like artificially long by running my mouth. Okay, sorry. Find the volume of the pyramid. All right, we're back to red again. So volume of the pyramid, notice they give us the inside height, not the slant height this time. So V equals 1/3 big BH. Big B is 12 times 12, 144. Let's write that down. 12 squared, which is 144. So V equals 1/3 times 144 times 5. Easy to do because 144 is divisible by 3. So we can do 144 divided by 3, which comes out to 48 times 5, which comes out to 240. So 240 cubic feet. Now we have a whining cat in the background. So again, I truly do apologize. He is not a well-behaved animal. Okay. All right, now we want the surface area of this cone. So we're going to use the formula. SA equals pi RL plus pi R squared. Have all our information already. Pi, radius, slant height, plus pi, radius squared, just barely inside the box. It's another good one to leave pi in the answer until you go ahead and multiply at the end. So this is 210 pi, and this one's 49 pi, so this is 259 pi. And when you plug that in the calculator using 3.14, 813.26 square centimeters. Halfway done. Which means this is going to be a lengthy video. Find the volume. Actually, no, maybe not, because this is nice and quick. Length, width, height. So 8 times 6 times 20.5. And when you multiply that out, that comes out to 984. And that's going to be cubic millimeters. That's a tiny little structure. Okay. Another working backwards. Find the radius of a cone with a volume of 726 pi cubic meters and a height of 18 meters. All right. Cone, volume. Volume of a cone, 1/3 pi R squared H. Okay, we have the volume. 726 pi is the volume. 1/3 times pi times the radius we don't know squared times H, which is 18. I know this looks complicated, but don't stress. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that we can cancel out the pi's because it's like dividing both sides by pi and it would just go away. The 1/3 and the 18, let's do 1/3 of 18, that's 6. So now I have 726 equals 6R squared. So I'm going to divide off the 6, which comes out to 121 equals R squared. Well, that's super convenient because that's a perfect square. Square root both sides. R is 11. So not nearly as difficult as it might have seemed. All right, surface area this time, a little bit ugly because it's got decimals or fractions, mixed numbers, but I'm going to make them decimals because that's what makes sense to me. Surface area of the cylinder, 2 pi RH, that's the lateral area, that's the area around the sides here, plus 2 pi R squared. Remember, that's the area of this circle and this circle down here. Excuse me. So 2 times pi times the radius, 5.25, times the height, 12.75 of the cylinder. Whew. If I leave the pi in that one comes out to 133.875 pi. For the other one, 2 times pi times the radius squared. Leaving the pi in that one for the moment comes out to 0.125 pi. And when I add them together, add those two things together, that comes out to 189 pi. And then do my 3.14, 593.46. And that one is square feet. Going back just for a sec, that was 11 meters for that answer. I just realized I didn't have a unit on my answer. Meters. The cat is serenading me and trying to rip down a mini blind right now. Sorry, bit of an editing jump. Had to go and intervene because the cat was almost successful in ripping down the mini blind. Gotta love it. All right, pi r squared h for the volume of the cylinder. Now, the first time I did this one, and I had to look back and check my work, I totally put the numbers in wrong. The radius is the 5 squared, and then the height is the 3. So 5 squared is 25 times 3 is 75, so 75 pi. And 75 times pi, when you use 3.14, is equal to 235.5. And this is cubic yards because it's volume. Okay. Going on back down to the bottom of the row. Okay, lateral area. So this was my mess up here. I should not have left lateral area in here because we haven't covered that. But if I look at a triangular prism, so let's make my triangular prism look like this. It's not the best triangular prism I've ever drawn, so forgive me. Okay, oh gosh, that's terrible. There we go, that's a little bit better. So this is a base, and this down here is a base. Around the sides, that's the lateral area. So that's what we're finding here. Okay, that's what we're finding here. So let me get rid of this little drawing so I have my space back again. Lateral area takes the surface area formula, which for this is HP plus 2 big B, and takes off what's not on the side. So takes off the bases. So really, what we end up having to find here is just HP. So the perimeter is 8 plus 6.5, which comes out to be 22.5. And the height of the prism is the 10, because that's the distance between the two triangular bases. So HP is 10 times 22.5, which is 225. And this is going to be square inches. Okay, you won't see the word lateral on your test. That was accidentally left on here by me. I apologize. Find the surface area of an equilateral triangular prism that is 9 meters tall with a base length of 6 meters and a base height of 8 meters. So here, unfortunately, once again, I'm going to have to draw a triangular prism. So let me stop. Let me look at my original drawing I made on paper here, because I do go through it before I make the video. Otherwise, I don't want to make a bunch of mistakes. The cat is now trying to knock something off of the dining room table to get my attention. Awesome. All right, so let me make my 2 triangles. There we go. That's much better this time. Now, you have to pretend this is an equilateral triangle. If it's an equilateral triangle, what I know about it is that if I have this triangle and I'm looking at it like this, if the base is 6 right there, and it told me the height was 8, so I'm going to write that in now. If the base is 6, then all the sides of the triangle are 6. So the perimeter of our triangle is 3 6s, which is 18. The area of that triangle is our big B for our prism. And that's going to be 1/2 times 6 times 8, because it told me the base and height of the triangle are the 6 and the 8. Okay, so 1/2 times 6 times 8, that's half of 48, that's 24. So now I have everything I need in order to find the surface area of this equilateral triangular prism. So this triangular prism, surface area is HP plus 2 big B. So I have H is the height of the prism, that's 9, times the perimeter of the base, that's 18, plus 2 times big B, which is 24, so that's 48 total. Cat, stop. He really is trying to distract me, isn't he? 162 plus 48 comes out to be 210, and this one is meters, so meters squared. Only 2 left, and I'm not even going to make it under 20 minutes. But remember, if you did the math first, then you should just be fast-forwarding to look at answers and only watching the ones that you got wrong. So the volume, whoop, gotta switch back to a pen. Volume equals 1/3 big BH. Uh-oh, wrong color. It's supposed to be yellow, but we'll go ahead and go with this anyway. So big B for a cone is pi r squared. Oh, I threw you a curveball there, didn't you? Didn't I? You thought I was going to do it wrong, huh? Well, I wanted to make sure and remind you that the concept behind this volume thing is the same regardless of what kind of solid you're looking at. This nerd right here watched a documentary about math last night. I know, sounds terribly boring. I was fascinated. Very interesting, on Netflix. Ask me in class. I'll look up the title for you if you want to see if you have it. Anyway, cone 1/3 pi r squared h is the same thing as 1/3 big BH, because big B is a circle. Okay. All right, so 15 squared is 225. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. I also notice here that I've got a 1/3. Well, I can do 1/3 of 225. 1/3 of 225 is 75. So now I have pi times 75 times 14. That comes out to be 1,050. So pi times 1,050 comes out to be 3297, 3,297, and this is centimeters cubed. Sorry to encroach on the space for this last one. And this one will be in blue. I'll do the smiley in yellow since I messed up the order of the colors. Surface area, 2 of the dimensions, plus 2 of a different pair of the dimensions, and then I'm going to put in over here 2 of another pair of dimensions. So that's what I got to put in here. So I'll do a 1 there because it's too skinny for anything else. 1, it'll do 1 and 1.5, and this one will be the 1 and the 2.5, and this one will be 1.5 and 2.5. See what I did there? I didn't have to name them each something. I could just do it like that, where I'm using each pair one time. All right, 2 times 1 times 1.5, that one comes out to 3. 2 times 1 times 2.5, that one comes out to 5. And 2 times 1.5 times 2.5, that one comes out to 7.5. 8 and 7.5 together makes 15.5 square yards. And we are done with this video. Remember the concepts. Remember what we talked about in terms of doubling or tripling dimensions and how it changes. When in doubt, just make up your own numbers and look at the way that they change for the problem that you made up. See you guys in class. Study for your test.